Maybe I'm a little bit crazy. Actually, I know I'm crazy. Crazy enough to travel during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic just to fly in an old airplane? Apparently so. And perhaps I was taking a bit of a risk, but I was bored and had nothing else to do, so I figured why not take a quick hop from Philadelphia to Atlanta and back to pay my respects to the Delta MD-88, also known as the Mad Dog, which would be removed from service in June 2020, just a couple of weeks after I made this trip. So, it was on a somewhat dreary morning in May of 2020 that I went and took this anticlimactic excursion, driving an hour and a half to Philadelphia International Airport and taking a flight of about the same amount of time the rest of the way to Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson. I literally walked through security in less than 5 minutes and wandered around the mostly empty terminal, then sat around, boarded the plane, and settled in for the brief hop. As you can see, the seat layout was pretty standard for this class of aircraft. 2 in first class and 3 in Comfort Plus and the main cabin. I selected a seat in the main cabin. And yes, I picked the seat right next to the engine on purpose. I mean, you have to. When you're on a T-tail with the engines mounted on the side, you pick the seat next to the engine. It's what you do. Well, at least it's what I did. On what other aircraft would you really have this opportunity? Except maybe for the Boeing 717, but that's for another time. Indulge me for the next few minutes as we enjoy the sights and sounds of these Pratt & Whitney JT8Bs as they come to life and do their thing. Delta was the last U.S. airline to fly the MD-88, and only a handful remain in active service around the world. It is the newest version of the MD-80 series, which itself is an updated and stretched version of the older DC-9. The first ones entered service for Delta in January of 1988, and more were put into service over the next several years, with the last one making its final flight on June 2, 2020, flying as DL-88 from Washington Dulles to Atlanta, thus ending nearly 33 years in continuous service as a fleet. The airline did have plans to retire the aircraft in the near future, but the drastic decline in passengers due to the COVID-19 pandemic hastened their retirement. They were nicknamed Mad Dogs supposedly because of their fast takeoff and loud noise, and also because of their MD designation. Unfortunately, I didn't get the tail number of this particular aircraft, nor the one I took back the next day. Admittedly because I didn't think of it, and also because I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, I have some idea, but I'm still new at this video thing. Give it time. Also, given my limited time and resources, I had to decide between the MD-88 and the slightly newer but more unique MD-90, for which Delta was the launch customer, last airline to fly it, and the airline with the largest fleet of them. Delta's DL-90, also flown on June 2, 2020, from Houston to Atlanta, was the last commercial MD-90 flight ever. So, yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have gone for the 90. But hindsight is 2020, and thank God 2020 is in hindsight. It's not all doom and gloom, however. Delta is still flying the even more unique, in my opinion, Boeing 717, and will be for a little while longer, so maybe I can redeem myself with that one. But digressing. Let's get on with it.
behalf of Delta and especially the St. Matter Base crew, we'd like to thank you for choosing us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Before I could say McDonnell Douglas T-tail narrowbody, we landed at a much busier Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson, and after dashing through the terminal, withdrew and socially distanced myself from the public in the comfort of my suite at a nearby off-airport hotel operated by a major international hotel chain. Hilton.
The next day.
I wasn't terribly impressed by this hotel, but it did the trick for one night. A quick Uber ride back to Hartsfield-Jackson got me there with plenty of time to kill before my return flight, so I used the opportunity to explore the airport both on foot and on the plane train, and got a sense of just how big and expansive this airport really is. As you can see on this diagram, it could take up to 35 minutes to walk from one end of the concourse to the other. Now that's a big airport. Opened in 1926, Hartsfield-Jackson serves as the primary hub for Delta and is named after two former Atlanta mayors, William B. Hartsfield and Maynard Jackson. It is considered the world's busiest airport in terms of passenger traffic and is also considered the largest airline hub in the world. It consists of 2 terminals and 7 concourses, all connected by a spine known as the Transportation Mall, an underground walkway with moving sidewalks alongside the plane train and automated people mover. I finally grabbed a coffee and found a relatively quiet place to sit so I could enjoy it. Or not. Okay, I got it. Before long, I got back on the plane for the return trip, and it was pretty much a repeat of yesterday, down to the seat right next to the engine. And yeah, come on, we have to see that takeoff roll again. An hour and a half of uneventful flying time, and we were back on the ground at deserted Philadelphia International, thus ending this little farewell excursion. I had a nice time.
Welcome to Philadelphia International Airport. For your health and safety, please maintain 6 feet of physical distance. Thank you for your cooperation.
All right, that's enough. I'm going home.